guys, it's me, Gayle MacBride. I'm one half of Veritas Views, Am I the Asshole Edition. I am here to let you know, guys, we're not going to be those assholes, I promise. We are going on a season break, but assholes would give you the best of. Not assholes are going to give you the least loved episodes. These are episodes we think you might have missed. They're little gems. So just heads up, you're going to hear one of those today. It might be one that you missed. Give it a listen. Let us know what you think. Season 1 has ended on episode 44. We're going to be back in 2025 with some new ideas and new concepts and a whole new season. So join us again after 5 encore episodes and have a wonderful 2025. Michael, tell us what today's episode is all about.
Our third encore episode is episode 9, which is, Am I the Asshole for Making My Daughter Choose a Different Restaurant for her birthday meal other than the one she really wanted? So if you listened to it before, great. If this is your first time, we hope you enjoy it. Either way, drop us a message in the mailbag. Let us know what you thought. Things we missed, maybe. Ask any questions you have. And we'll definitely get around to answering those in 2025. And we'll see you there.
Well, hey there. You've stumbled upon the intersection of internet quandaries and psychological insight. Welcome to Veritas Views on AITA, where the quirks of the internet meet the expertise of Veritas Psychology Partners.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Michael MacBride, and I'm joined by our dynamic duo of psychologists.
Hi, I'm Dr. Gayle MacBride, and with me today is, and really most days, is my partner, Dr. Daniel Kessler, whose intellect is matched only by his wit.
Thanks, Dr. MacBride. Looking forward to another interesting conundrum for us to pick apart.
Great. Well, welcome both of you. For the newbies out there, if you don't know what Am I the Asshole is, in short, someone posts a scenario and asks readers, who's the asshole here? And that's what we're going to help determine. Neither Dan nor Gayle have read or seen this before, so let's go. Today's prompt is, am I the asshole for making my daughter choose a different restaurant for her birthday meal other than the one she really wanted?
Probably.
You know, this is hard. As a parent, sometimes kids pick really crappy choices.
I know. It's like, no, I'm not eating there.
You have like any choice. Okay, we should probably hear what the choice actually was before we start weighing in. But
sure, but I mean, judging books by its cover, which is not something we would ever do in our therapy offices.
Never.
We want to hear the full story.
So I do love the knee-jerk reactions, though. It's always kind of funny to see what you guys immediately think.
Well, but that I mean, it is something we struggle with in therapy as well. I mean, someone comes in and they start with something, and you're like, wait, I've got to hear the full story. I need to really hear them through, and I think that's a really useful thing to practice. So we're practicing it here.
Yes. Oh, good. I like that.
Is that good? Go ahead, Michael. Yes. Please tell us.
Excellent. The story. I'll give you the rest. Okay, so this is what it says. I guess the poster is 39-year-old female. Her daughter just recently had her 17th birthday. Her husband, who's 42, male, it says for whatever reason, and I told her to pick out a restaurant that she would like to take her to for her birthday. She chose a seafood restaurant that we'd never been to before. In looking over the menu, I saw that the vast majority of the dishes contained shellfish. There were a few fish entrees as well as some surf and turf, but there were only a couple non-seafood dishes. Our son, 15, is deathly allergic to shellfish. He can't stand fish. There were only a couple dishes that he could actually eat. I didn't want to take him there because I knew that he really wouldn't enjoy his meal, and I was worried about cross-contamination. I told my daughter that this restaurant wouldn't work and that she'd have to pick a different one. My son said that he would be fine just staying home and that we could use the money that we would have spent on his meal to order him a pizza instead.
Oh,
no. Although 15-year-old boy is
he's like, aha, I found a reason to stay home this time.
Yeah, that does math out. Yeah, 15. Having been a 15-year-old boy once, like, eat a whole pizza and stay home alone might be better than going out to a nice restaurant. And yeah, okay. There's more to this, though, isn't there?
There is, because then the husband also insists that since it's their daughter's birthday, that she should be able to choose the restaurant of her choice. And since the son would be fine staying home with pizza and video games, that's what they should do. Here's the thing, though. We can only afford to go out every so often as a family. When we splurge on a restaurant meal, I want both of our children there. I insisted, and my daughter chose a different place, and we had a nice meal as a family. But she is still a little salty that she didn't get her first choice of restaurants. Most people I've asked say I'm wrong, but again, we can only afford to go out every so often. Is it so wrong that I wanted to do it as a family? My daughter still had a nice birthday meal, but am I the asshole?
I think I start with there's a lot of black and white language here. And, both of us really listen for that when our clients come in our office and start talking about these situations. And we are really in black and white land here. And I think I would really want to explore those shades of gray for this family. There's some really salient points that need to be taken into consideration. The son's deathly, deathly, I don't know what I want to say. Death. What's that?
Allergic.
Yeah, deathly allergic. But I was trying to anyway. And then there's also financial constraints, and I'm really glad the poster put that in, because my knee-jerk reaction was take the daughter out, just the two of you, and then send the rest of the family to something that was more amenable for everybody. But clearly, she said that's a constraint, and I, we really need to take that into consideration when talking with people about what their options are, is considering financial resources.
Yeah, I I mean, I really appreciate what you said there, because I don't think that we're like, this is not a black and white issue. I mean, and I'm a little irritated that kiddo's picking a seafood restaurant with a younger brother who's so deathly allergic. I'm not so divorced from my psychoanalytic training back in the day to wonder about the sibling stuff going on here. I mean, let's go to a seafood place that so I struggle a little bit with that. I'm not going to call her an asshole, but I do, like, I got to wonder about some family dynamics here. And maybe I'm reading too much of it into it, because that's what I do for a living, right? But
For
like,
sure.
geez, your little brother is could die if he catches the wrong whiff of food here. And it doesn't sound like the daughter flipped out, though.
No, and she can't be surprised by this. It feels a little limit testing on the daughter's part. She's
Yeah.
gonna put some bait out there to see, what's up, what gets some uptake here. And at 17, this is absolutely appropriate, from a developmental standpoint. We see, our teenagers from about 15 on, when they start leaving the home, to test those limits and really push us as parents. And we're really annoyed, and we want to say things like teenagers are absolute jerks, but the reality is teenagers aren't jerks. And I tell this to my clients all the time, is really they're going through a phase of life where they are trying to become their own people, and they're trying to separate. And that sort of jerkiness serves a purpose, which is to get some emotional distance from the parents, so that they can leave the home where they've hopefully been nurtured and cared for all of these years, and do something that's really hard. I understand why she's maybe testing this limit, psychoanalytic training aside.
But it's such a push-pull for teenagers,
Oh, yeah.
They need their parents. They don't want to need their parents. They get annoyed by their parents, but they still want their parents' support and caring. They want to get away from them and still want to have them there. It's a really difficult time, and it totally doesn't surprise me that she picked a restaurant that maybe she knew was going to be problematic for the family.
Yeah. Well, or even just really special, if she's got a brother with this allergy, they don't go and get seafood. She may have been explicitly told, like, don't order seafood and have it come to the table. Your brother could have a reaction. And so 17 can feel really special. I'm on the cusp of being 18. I really want to go somewhere that feels adult. And even just exercising that kind of bone, if you will, is it maybe why she's choosing this. We certainly don't know.
Totally. And as far as, the moms wanting to set some limitations, we do birthday dinners in my family, and we don't necessarily allow any choice for anything, because there may be places that some family members so like, I mean, if mom's an asshole, then I guess I am too. Because I've certainly said no to rejected a restaurant and said, you know what, there's nothing there that this family member can eat or was willing to eat. And given that, it's just not like, let's do this as a family. I think there's an opportunity here to do some teaching, around, you know, teenagers can be very egocentric, very focused on self.
Mhm.
And here's an opportunity to do some teaching around when you're getting together with a group of people, being aware of the dietary needs of each member of the group is important, even if it's a special day for you.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And it is a birthday celebration. And so you don't want to say, well, you're uninvited because you can't eat here. And as much as that 15-year-old may have really genuinely enjoyed staying home, it's his sister's birthday. And it sounds like it's the family tradition and expectation, like you and I both share with our families. You're coming along. This is not a pizza night where you get to, play on your devices and consume pizza and run around the house, risky business style.
So I know I really believe that this is again, we're out of the black and white, but into the teachable moment here.
Mhm.
Like you are going to throughout your life be getting together with people for special occasions. How do you choose food for the company lunch? How do you choose food for a get together for a kid's birthday party? How do you choose a venue for whatever? And how do you pay attention to the needs of everyone you're inviting?
Yes.
Within reason.
Right.
So I'm maybe we're not supposed to do this yet, Michael, but I don't think mom's an asshole at all here. I mean,
No.
I really like. I'm I'm good with it. I'm a little annoyed at Dad for being kind of pushy on this. Wait, was Dad pushy on this?
Yeah, what was Dad's
Yeah.
reaction? Can you remind us, Michael?
Yeah, remind us about
da-
Dad.
Dad was with the son. He was like, "Oh, he just wants the pizza. That's fine. Like, let's just do that, and we'll take
No,
her out to seafood."
no, it's a
Yeah,
family thing. I don't think Dad's an asshole, but I'm like, dude, it's a family thing. Don't leave your kid at
yeah.
home, even if he wants to be left at home. Like, because teenagers often want that, but sometimes, but you really want to foster that family thing.
Right. I think Dad needs to have had an opportunity here to co-parent with his partner. He needed to kind of come back. They needed a game plan. He knows the family tradition. I think he's taking the path of least resistance on this. And, maybe because money is tight, it's not a terrible idea to let him stay home and to give him what he wants and not have him suffer through something he doesn't enjoy, that kind of thing. But I really do think there was an opportunity for those partners, those parents to come together and come up with a united decision. No, we do this as a family, so we're going to choose another restaurant. I think he, by sort of agreeing with the 15-year-old, puts this mom in the position of looking more like an asshole, looking like the heavy on this. And I think that's maybe where she's walking away feeling like, ooh, maybe I did do something wrong. My partner doesn't back me up here.
Right. So husband needed to work better on this. I'm not happy with Dad.
Yeah.
And the 15-year-old, again, we're back to teachable moments with teenagers. And yeah, I know that right now at age 15, you'd rather have a pizza and play video games and just chill by yourself in a house that you're often like too stuck with other people that you don't necessarily want to be, but this is family time.
Yeah.
And we're going to find something to do that we're going to be able to do as a family. I mean, there's data behind this, and families having meals together and spending time together and positive outcomes later on in life. So while they don't necessarily want it, I'm going to be a little bit pushy on this and say, hey, let's find a place that you all we can have a good family time together.
Yeah, I agree. I might go, as I maybe often do, a little bit further than you do in the ruling here. I would say mom is not an asshole.
No.
Dad sucks. The daughter sucks. And only because sometimes teenagers suck. Like it's a soft,
Yeah.
but just
Daughter and son and husband all like suck a little bit.
see, I don't agree. I don't think the son sucks. Like I am going to leave him and mom out of this.
No.
Perfectly. No. This is my ruling.
Fine.
I think the son.
You keep going.
You are welcome to disagree with me, and we often can and do. But I think the son doesn't suck because I really see him in a position of saying, look, here, I have an in the gray solution. Go and I'll stay home. I love solution focus. So maybe this is why he's got my heart a little bit. He presented an option. It's not the right option for the family, but I don't think it's a sucky option. As long as he came back and said, okay, if you pick another restaurant, I'm happy to go. Like if he's like, no, then I might say he sucks a bit more.
It's weird because this is so open to interpretation.
Yeah.
it could be that this, like, I think the son sucks a little bit here comes from but not in a bad, like in the way that all teenagers often do. Like,
Sure.
it's, I would rather do this thing than, and if my teenagers are listening, yeah, I am talking about you. So I mean, no, I love my teenagers; they're wonderful, but they push back, and I did too as a teenager. This is normal, and
Mhm.
and I guess what we don't know here, and I think we're interpreting the teenager's behavior differently. You're seeing this as solution focused. He's trying to like find a way for everyone to be happy. I'm seeing this as a bit of teenage boy pushback. I get to do what I want this way, and a bit more self-centered. I don't know which one of us is right.
Right.
But it
It would be
does
interesting. The mom might give us a bit of a flavor of that.
right. It kind of underscores the need to like really listen, because
Yeah.
if the son's doing how I'm interpreting his behavior to be,
Mhm.
then we need to push back on him. If the son's interpreting your behavior, we need like, that's great, son,
Mhm. Mhm.
and let's do this as a family. But we don't know, and that's just
Right. And
privilege
there
is
may be
open.
an opportunity to teach the son. I talk to my kids a lot about using your voice, right? Don't just let a situation roll over you. If you have a position or a need, make that known. You don't have to be pushy with it, but you do need to be assertive. And here's how you're assertive in life. And
Yeah,
maybe the son needs a little bit of that permission.
we
Now,
think
if I
about
got into my dynamic training, I might look at the position of the son here and why he's not voicing his needs and what role that he plays in the family.
no. I mean, I guess we can continue down this path of misinterpreting, reinterpreting the son's
Mhm.
behavior. Maybe he's not, oh, this isn't, I could be like, oh, this is her special day, and I'll do this. Like, he may be in a really tough place with this.
Yeah.
I'm willing to stay home and have a pizza, you all go have fun, like that.
I'm the one with the terrible seafood allergy. I'm bringing everybody down.
Yeah, I could see this as some negativity towards self, in which case now we're going to react totally differently to this. I'm now going to be like, no, you're important, you're valued. We really want you there. We're going to find some place to do this. Like, we don't know what's driving the son's behavior. And that's going to
Right.
we're going to have to dig out. If we were working with this family, we have to dig out whether this is teenage dickishness, whether this is solution focused, or whether this is son of a negative sense of self driving behavior,
Mhm.
or
And I
something
think
else
it
entirely.
underscores, excuse me, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say it underscores why we don't give advice, really hardcore advice, because we don't know those elements. And the people coming into our offices know these ins and outs. And we get a brief snapshot in a few moments, like just like here, to react, put some ideas on the table and let someone make the best decision based on all of the information that they know.
But what I would really want to do sitting down with mom in my office would be like, what are all the possibilities for your son's choices here? Like, to
Yes.
explore all these possibilities and see if we can't tease out the best reaction possible.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. So
unlike
maybe we
unlike
don't have enough info here for the son, but we've
We don't.
passed judgment on the other members of the
We'll
family.
pass judgment on them. Yes.
unlike both of you, the internet was very decisive. They knew all of the things. So
Ooh,
they
Oh,
had no
people on the
problem.
internet often know all of the
yeah.
things.
Everyone on the internet
Let's
knows
be honest.
exactly what to do. No, this is the problem.
They they uh they
They're certain.
totally jumped on the mom. It was decisively, you are the asshole.
Oh, oh,
This is the daughter's special day. Especially if you can only afford to go out sometimes, you need to spend the money in the way the daughter wants.
No.
The son, offers a nice alternative. They did not think about the possibility that he was being self-serving, and this was, an opportunistic, like, ooh, I can get pizza and stay home. That was not on the radar at all.
mhm.
And everybody really piled on the mom. Like, everybody
Wow.
else in this situation is very reasonable. The father, the
Wow.
son, the daughter asked for what she wanted. You put it up as you can choose any restaurant, and then you shit all over it. Now the outliers were everybody sucks here. So those were your two possibilities.
Huh. Well, the reality is, I mean, the host and I have two children, and once a year they have birthdays, and they sometimes ask for things that I don't want to give them. I, as a parent, am not obligated to give them everything that they want. And so sometimes as parents, we make choices. Sometimes those land well, sometimes they don't, quite frankly, but that's the nature of kids. just because the daughter wants to go to a particular restaurant as her sort of celebration or gift doesn't mean that's what you give her. You've given
Right.
her an opportunity to choose, but it's not sort of that blank check. I mean, what if she chose a really high-end restaurant that the family really couldn't afford even for the one outing? You know, I'm thinking of a particular restaurant in town that is seafood based, but is pretty high dollar. And I don't think this family is going to probably be visiting that seafood restaurant. So
Yeah.
I think the internet is wrong in this case. And I think the other option that comes to mind when I think about gifting to my children is to think about maybe this meal as maybe two members of the family, not the birthday celebration, is the gift. If you really just want to go for seafood because it's really a delicacy and a treat or something, maybe you say, let's do a day, just a parent and the daughter, and I'll take you there. But that's our gift. Instead of giving her something, you know, physical and material, it's an experience and a meal.
Yeah. We have, and we could do a whole podcast on experiences as gifts versus things as gifts.
I love experiences versus things.
So I'm a huge fan there as well of experience gifts rather than thing gifts. I think we did some social media about that in the past. But I mean, I think this is also one of those questions that might stratify by in cross demographics. Like I wonder I suspect that 20-year-old me would have answered this different than almost 60-year-old me answers this question.
In what way?
Well, I think 20-year-old me might have sided with the rest of the internet on this. Like it's your specialty because, you know, at 20 years old, I hadn't had children yet. I certainly didn't have teenage children yet. And I've now had the experience of opportunity to have teenage children and have teenage children now. And have had that I view the world differently today than I did 40 years ago. And I could really see it demographically this breaking out where I wonder, I may ask my 18-year-old about this one later today and see what he thinks about it. But I suspect that this could, and maybe I'm wrong, but I do wonder how much this might break down. So often we see things differently at different stages of life.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And I don't know what the average age of, you know, readers are of this particular forum. So maybe that's what we're getting reflected back here.
Or maybe we're wrong.
Nah.
Internet is, yeah, you're right.
Probably not.
No,
I mean, we're two highly trained psychologists. How likely is that?
Yeah, exactly. We got like 50 years experience and like we both graduated from the 23rd grade. We must be smarter. No,
the average.
No, but you know what, we may be losing sight of. You know, I want to remain open to the possibility. Like I'd be interested in reading some of these comments down the road and seeing whether they might persuade me a bit.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's really important to pause and take the opportunity to potentially be persuaded. I don't know that I would be persuaded on this one, but I'm willing to be open to the possibility that I'm wrong. I mean,
fair. Here to get it right, not be right.
And this is a great opportunity to say our webpage now has a contact us form on there as well. You can certainly let us know, let us know what you think. You know, where do you weigh in on this
Kessler
issue? And
you're idiots. You know,
and what did we miss? So yeah, absolutely. Let us know that kind of stuff.
Would love to hear that. Yeah.
I will add, it was hilarious how many of the comments quoted the original post saying, all the people I've asked said that I'm wrong. And they quoted that and they're like, that's because you're the asshole.
Poor mother was probably reaching out, looking for, you know, warm and welcoming arms and just reassurance. And she just like got beat down.
You know what? I'm gonna spin this one a little bit too. Like, isn't it great that mom has friends and people in her life are willing to push back on her?
Yes. Well,
like so many
people, you want to do
like,
that?
Tell their friends.
Go on.
No, please.
No, I wanted to spin off your spin. I thought this was great. You know, mom is also willing to be vulnerable enough to put it out to the internet, which is not not known for being kind and cuddly, really. And so she was willing to get some feedback on this. Yeah. And so way to go, mom.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I really am happy that her friends are willing to push back on her because so many people I asked my friends and they all said that I'm right. It's like, okay, well, they're your. You know, it's nice that her friend said to her, hey, you're wrong. I think her friends are wrong too. Apparently, everyone thinks we're wrong, Gail.
Wow.
Except for you and me.
Except for you and me.
I'm going to defend feedback from people who listen to this and are like, yeah, you guys are wrong.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to defend the internet as not being soft and cuddly. There's a lot of cat videos and photos out there, which are definitely soft and cuddly.
Okay.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
There are soft and cuddly places on the internet. I will agree.
Yeah. Well, thank you both again for another riveting debate and a glimpse into the collective conscience of the internet forums. Remember, morality is often shades of gray and not just black and white.
As we talked about today. And truth can be stranger than fiction. So stay true and stay strange.
Join us again next time where we wade through another intriguing Am I the Asshole thread. And please let us know what you think through our webpage.
Definitely. And please follow and share Veritas Views on any of the podcast platforms with your neighbors and friends. And as always, stick around through the credits for the bonus conversation about the seemingly random items in the therapist's office and the stories behind those objects.
You can follow Dr. Dan Kessler at Dr. Dan Kessler and Dr. Gayle MacBride at Dr. G. MacBride. Oh, and you can find them both at veritaspp.com. Credits. Tickling the Ivories, Matthew Reddington. Art, production, and design, bringing the show together with flair and finesse, Michelle Love. Recording and editing, turning chaos into something worth sharing, Michael MacBride. Intro, outro, I'm Kelly Buttrick, a VO talent who just happens to be Dr. MacBride's cousin. Cats, CJ, Linus, Sadie, and Griffin. Hosting by whomever lost the coin flip. Interruptions by all their children. The content of this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional mental health advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Listening to this podcast does not constitute a therapist-client relationship. If you believe you may be experiencing a mental health issue, please seek the assistance of a qualified mental health professional. If you are experiencing a mental health crisis, you can call or text 988 from anywhere in the U.S. to be connected to Crisis Mental Health Services.
Thanks for listening. As promised, here is the bonus conversation.
Okay, so I think as long as I have known you, you've had a book on your shelf in your office, and I believe the title is something to the effect of Parenting, All Joy and No Fun. And I thought that would be appropriate to talk about today. I'd love to know more about the book.
So I heard this author speak and I thought she was terrific. And I bought her book. I'll admit it's one of the books on my shelf that I've not read. I have skimmed it, but I remember in hearing her speak, she cited some research that said that your net level of happiness goes down when you have children. Like it's like the people who are choosing not to have children are often happier than those of us who choose to have children. I'm so glad I had children. I really am. But it's an interesting phenomenon that we want kids, we have kids, they bring us great joy, but they reduce the fun that we have. They reduce the fun and enjoyment that we have individually as human beings. And I find that just to be a fascinating thing that we want this so much and that they give us such great joy, but also reduce our level of fun. So yeah, it's there. I haven't read it.
Yeah, but it's funny because that research really tracks with the research around marital satisfaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your marital satisfaction typically when you get married is quite high. And then, when you introduce a child into the marriage or a baby into a sitcom, right? The satisfaction with the storyline goes down. And I often explain to people, it, continues to go down until, K plus about 18 years or last K plus 18 years, because then that child is typically launched out of the home and marital satisfaction, funny enough, goes back up. And I think it has everything to do with the fun that you're having with your partner.
When I've taught intro psych and I'm teaching a freshman, I've asked them, what do you think is the happiest time in a couple's life? And they're almost universally like, when the kids are born and things like that. And I'm like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. The happiest time is right now when you all are out of the house, because there's data to support that. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. So it really is like that is the happiest time in a couple's life is when they're empty nesters. Again, if my children are listening, I love you very much, but I won't mind it either when you're all grown and on your own and living happy, satisfying lives.
Yeah.
And
But as we said when we gathered last night, like that's going to be a strange time too. We're both starting to ramp into some of that and experience that. And so, yeah.
All right. There you
I was
go.
going to add one quick thing, which was Seth Rogen often gets asked about having children, and he was like, fuck no. My wife and I have an amazing life. Look at me. I'm laying around smoking pot, making ceramics, and doing whatever the fuck I feel like. If I had kids, it would 100% dampen that fun.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Again, I love my children. He's not wrong.
Indeed.
All right.
Well, thanks so much for tuning in. Tune in next week for another riveting Am I the Asshole debate.
We love hearing from you, so please review us on Apple, Spotify, or, well, wherever you're listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please review, like, and follow. Also, give it a share. This helps us reach more listeners.